Okay, so I just want to go over all of our due dates and things like that. And yes, I do have a catch-up day worked in there for you guys. Unfortunately, it's not this week, just because we do have some work that I want to make sure again that we do in class, so this way you don't have to worry about it outside of class. Okay, so we are still working on our research paper, and those of you who turned in your notes, thank you so much for turning those in. We are on schedule if you have turned in your notes for your research. If not, then you got some work to do, unfortunately. And today I want to make sure you get that work time in. So here's our agenda for today. We have a do now on plagiarism and paraphrasing, and we're just going to go over this very briefly. The video on plagiarism is about 4 minutes long. The ed puzzle on paraphrasing is also about 4 minutes long. We're going to talk about the paper requirements, so that this way we have work days kind of set up already for you, and I'll show you that calendar in a minute. We're going to look at a sample paper, so exactly what the paper needs to look like at the end. I'm going to show you from kind of start to finish. And then we're going to use some time today to write. So one last thing, there are our shirt sales have been extended through Friday. I know some people had said that they weren't able to get the shirts last week, but they can do it this week. So they have been extended through Friday, so you can pay in cash in the library on Monday and Tuesday. So, today, or you can go to the bookkeeper window Wednesday and Thursday, or you can still call in an order. So you can call into the bookkeeper, and the phone number is there if you're interested. And it's that Riding the Waves to Success theme that we had for this year. And I think that's actually a very great theme for this year, just to kind of remind us to, just go with the flow. All right, so we'll come back to the ed puzzle in just a minute, but let me show you the dates first of all. So our Great Leader paper requirements and sample we're going to look at in Power School in a minute. But the paper due date is December 15th, and this is the last day that we have together before finals is what it is. Okay, so that will have to be due December 15th. If you finish before that, there's already a Dropbox in Power School for you that you can upload your paper in. But these are our work days. So we have 12/1, which is today. 12/4 is a complete work day. So 12/4, you're not even going to do a do now. You're going to come in for your binder check, but you're basically just working on your paper the whole time from the time you come in. And again, this is so that this way you don't have anything to do outside of class. Okay. And then we have 12/8 also as a work day, which is next Tuesday. Now, I did leave out the 15th as like a no work day, kind of a catch up day. So on the 15th, when we come to class that day, you can either finish off anything you need to do on the paper, or you can use that as kind of like a study hall day if you have finished everything already and you've turned it in. Again, I would really, really suggest that if you can use these work days to, the best of your ability, please use the work days, so this way you can get it done and get it out of the way. Okay, get the paper done. But those are our work days. So that 15th, that day, the paper is going to be due by 5 p.m. I would need it by 5 p.m. because I need to have it graded for your final day. So if I could have that by 5 p.m. that day, and I'll remind you on that day also. So again, if you finish it early and you're done, you want to just get it off of your plate and off of your shoulders, then that will be due the 15th. Or you can send it in earlier. So these are our last grades that we are looking at, our last scores that are going into the grade book. I can't open the chat. I know that there was a chat there somewhere. I'll take questions in a minute though. Hang on. Let me just go through this part. So for us, we have our tutorial this week. We have a tutorial next week. And then we have our binder check December 4th. And that would be your last binder check for the semester. Okay, so that's this Friday, because next Friday you're not here. So that would be it. So our finals days are the 16th and 17th. And then for our final day, what we are going to do is we have a reflective piece that we are writing. So that should take us no more than like 30 minutes or so. And then you have the rest of the time to work on, studying for finals or whatever it is you need to do for that. Okay. When we look at it like this, there's not a lot of days left, right? There's just not a lot of days left that we are together and that we're working together. But hopefully at that time too, you just kind of get to breathe a little bit. But again, my intention is to give you these work days so that this way, outside of Avid class, you're not doing any Avid work other than, keeping up with your notes to make sure that you're preparing for your finals and your classes. Okay. But that's our whole, rest of our time together here, the rest of the semester for you. I didn't put in grades over the week. I don't know why, but I was locked out of PowerSchool and Google Classroom. So I had to update my password. And of course, with nobody at the district office, there was nobody to reset it for me. So I just updated my password yesterday. So I'm hoping that by this weekend, I have all of your grades updated in PowerSchool. But other than that, are there questions on dates and scores and grades? I can't open my chat, so hang on, let me see. Yes, we have 135 this Friday. Yes, that's correct. So we have 135 this Friday, then 246. So then our finals days, we keep to our regular schedule where Tuesday, Thursday is 135. I don't know actually if finals week we have advisory. They haven't let us know yet. We might have advisory still on that Tuesday, but I'm still not sure. But yes, this week is 135. Any questions on the schedule though so far? Oh, we're good.
I have a question, but within the binder check, is there a limit between the notes that we can turn in within extra credit?
No.
Because I have a lot of notes that I took in with the extra week.
No, yeah, turn them in. Turn them in. Yeah, absolutely. Especially since it's finals time right now too. This is your last binder too. So, yeah, make it count. If you have extra notes, throw them in. Absolutely. All right. Good question. Any other questions on that? Okay, so we'll jump into the paper here in just a moment. Actually, here, let me do this. Okay, so I'm going to jump into PowerSchool, and I'm going to invite you to jump into PowerSchool with me if you want, or you can just look at my screen, and then we'll come back and do the do now. We'll do the do now later. Sorry, that's just the way it worked out. Okay, so in PowerSchool, what you're going to see is that you have a few things. You have the Great Leaders Grow Deep Roots, and that's an article that we read a few weeks back, and I'll come back and tell you about why that's important when we talk about the requirements. You have the Great Leader Research Paper Assignment. Okay, so this was the assignment that we originally got, and we did all of our research on that, on those 4 sections of the Great Leaders' contributions to society. And then you have a sample paper. Okay, you'll have the link here also for the paper. Again, if you finish it early and you just want to get it off of your shoulders, turn it in and it's good. Okay. Oh, this is actually the recording from yesterday from 4th period. I forgot I copied that in there, but you'll have your own recording in here as well. So let's take a look first of all at the paper requirements. Okay, so this was your writing prompt. Some of the greatest leaders in history are those who identify a problem within society that they feel they can have an impact on. These leaders are not always looking for recognition, nor are they looking to make grand gestures. What these leaders recognize is that it takes small, everyday actions to start movements. Research a leader who identified a problem within society that needed to be addressed. Identify the causes of the problem, the leader's actions, and the consequences of their actions in impacting the future. So for the paper requirements, you are doing an APA format, and I'm going to go back and show you what that looks like. You have 2 to 3 pages of typed content pages. So this isn't including like your resources page or your title page or any of that kind of stuff. And when we look at the sample, you'll see what that looks like as well. You had the Great Leaders Grow Deep Roots article that you had to include as one of your sources. We had 1 trusted web source and 1 scholarly article. I opened it up to more web sources instead of doing the scholarly article just because I think it's a little bit easier for us given the situation. But we'll practice looking at what a scholarly article looks like during next semester when we do our research on world problems. So part 1 is a biography, right? So you talked about the leader's milestones in their life, and especially anything related to the movement they're associated with. Historical and societal context, so what was going on in the world at the time the leader would have identified as a problem. So each of these sections was about half a page. Part 3, the leader takes action. That's about half a page to 3/4 of a page. And then the leader's impact is half a page to 3/4 of a page. And then part 5 is your conclusions. What did you learn about the leader that was most impactful and that can serve to influence you in the future? And this was one paragraph. And this section here is the only section where you can kind of offer an opinion, or you can use the pronoun I believe, I think. That would be acceptable there. The rest of it is straight information that you're reporting on, so you would not use that in that case. Okay, so let me show you now the sample paper. Okay, so this is, if you look, this is 6 pages, right? It says 6 pages, but this is why. Remember, I said 2 to 3 pages of typed content. One page on its own is the title page. So that's one page. Okay, and that has all of your identifying information, the running head, the full title, your name, the institution, the class, and the due date. It says the 11th, but remember the due date's the 15th. The abstract is one paragraph and it's on its own page. So this is already page 2. Okay, so the abstract, what I did here is I included a template. If you wanted to use this template, you're welcome to, but it's basically just an account of what to expect in the paper. So like if you look at it, it says, so this is on Martin Luther King, right? The purpose of this paper is to examine the impact of choices made by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. during the civil rights movement for the betterment of life of African Americans. The paper begins with a brief overview of his life. You look at the historical and social context that made him take action and the impact he created through his actions. So that's a template that you can use if you don't want to have to worry about it. You basically just put in your leader and that's all set. And that's one whole page. Okay. So now the paper itself, in terms of the content, starts here. And so you have biography, and I'm not going to read this to you, but biography is your first heading, one paragraph. Okay. One paragraph, half a page is basically what you're looking at. Historical and social context, this one I think came out a little bit longer than half a page, about 3/4 of a page. Okay, but that's right now we're looking at our second page of typed content, right? A leader takes action. So this one was a little bit longer as well, 3/4 of a page. And then this is the third page of typed content, right? So remember, I said 2 to 3 pages of actual typed content. The leader's impact is your fourth heading, and then the conclusion. Okay, so remember that these sections, the leader's impact and the leader takes action, those are the sections that are probably going to be a little bit longer. But this is an exercise too on trying to make sure that you kind of condense and you put in your information in a way that's concise. Okay, so then that's the typed content. And then your references page is your last page. Okay, so 6 pages it says, but again, it's 2 to 3 pages of typed work, actual work. Okay, and you have this model to use in here. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can access this model. One, you can just kind of, format it the way this is formatted if you wanted to in your Google Doc. The other thing you can do is, and this worked for some people yesterday. I felt like it was a little bit complicated, but if you find that this works for you, you can. If you go into Docs, there is an APA report. And you just have to search the templates and you can look at APA report. And all you'd have to do in this case is take things out that you don't need, right? So like this thing right here, the author note, you don't need that, right? You can take that out. Abstract, it's its own page. The title of your paper, your full title. Don't worry so much about these here. Look at the example when you're doing your headings so that you can see how you need to do your headings. But again, you take out what you need, right? You don't need all of that stuff. And then your references page is the last page. Okay. So that would be like the easiest way to do it, I think. But again, just remember to take things out. Okay. All right. So that is the paper requirements. Let me just a second here.